Arab and Muslim leaders risk blowback for endorsing Harris. As Kamala Harris steps up her engagement to a group of voters who could be critical in Michigan, some fear publicly supporting her. Last month, Mohammed Hassan, a longtime city councilor in Hamtramck, Michigan, the only Muslim-majority city in the country, got a call from someone with Kamala Harris's presidential campaign asking him what they needed to do to win back disaffected Michigan Muslims. I shouted at them. I shouted, "Really?" I said, "You guys are not doing anything. You're doing nothing. You need to do much, much more," Hassan said. I made a big noise. That message, which Hassan was hardly the only one delivering, appears to have finally gotten through to the Harris campaign, which has in the past 2 weeks dramatically ramped up efforts to win back a group of voters that could be critical in Michigan and other battleground states. But Harris faces ongoing challenges in finding Muslim and Arab community leaders willing to publicly embrace her and risk blowback from their own constituents angered by the continued U.S. support for Israel's war in Gaza and southern Lebanon. Most Muslims have been reliable Democratic voters in recent years. But supporting Harris now can invite bitter and personal reproach from some parts of the community. They're traumatized. They're being threatened. They're being cursed, spit on, saying that you're traitors. How could you support a genocidal candidate? Osama Sablani, the publisher of the Dearborn, Michigan-based Arab American News, said of Harris endorsers. Dearborn, with its large Palestinian and Lebanese American communities, has been the epicenter of the blowback, with many families directly impacted by the war. Arab America PAC, which has typically endorsed Democrats up and down the ballot, is meeting Saturday in Sablani's office and virtually to make a final decision about its presidential endorsement. Sablani plans to personally advocate for leaving the top of the ticket blank and only endorsing down-ballot candidates. Muslim voters, meanwhile, have expressed they have moral and religious concerns about supporting an administration they feel is complicit in what they view as genocide, even saying they don't know if they could explain their vote for Harris on Judgment Day. No one in this community who is elected has stood with her so far because they know they're going to lose their seat if they do that, if they're Arab Americans or American Muslims, Sablani added, with only some hyperbole. A group called Muslim Women for Harris disbanded after the request was denied for a Palestinian speaker at the Democratic National Convention, only to reform later. Pro-Harris organizers speak of creating permission structures to make voters who otherwise agree with them on most issues and have a history of voting Democrat feel comfortable supporting Harris. And they've found greater success in other parts of the hugely diverse Muslim community, which has roots on at least 4 continents far beyond the Levant, with Harris earning recent support from Somalis, South Asian and African American Muslims. That difference is also reflected among leaders, with Harris enjoying the support of prominent Muslim Democrats like Minnesota Attorney General Keith Ellison and Representative Ilhan Omar, Democrat Minnesota, but not Rep. Rashida Tlaib, a Palestinian-American Democrat who represents Dearborn. In nearby Hamtramck, for instance, which has a large Bengali and Yemeni population, Hassan said he is now confident that both communities will overwhelmingly support Harris, especially after Trump this month said a lot of Yemeni refugees coming to the U.S. are known terrorists. Our people are not so worried about what's happening to Gaza right now. Our people are worried about what happens after Donald Trump gets elected, said Hassan, who has been on the city council for 16 years. But the righteous anger at Harris and anyone who supports her is palpable as well. Georgia State Representative Ruwa Rahman, who is Palestinian-American and a vocal leader of the uncommitted movement formed to protest President Joe Biden's support for Israel, was heckled on stage at the National Arab American Convention in Dearborn last month. As the audience cheered them on, one audience member accused Rahman of continuing to defend a genocider, while another said it was disgusting that Rahman expressed willingness to give a speech at the Democratic National Convention. How do you plan to maintain trust and credibility within the Palestinian, Muslim and Arab communities when there is a perception that your support for Harris is at odds with advocating for an end to the genocide in Gaza? A woman in a hijab asked Rahman pointedly.